Are there any secrets left in Egypt? During the early evening of the 26th of November 1922, the British archaeologist Howard Carter, together with his sponsor Lord Carnarvon, entered the tomb of a youthful pharaoh of the 18th dynasty who had ruled Egypt from 1352 to 1343 BC. The name of that pharaoh, which has since resounded around the world, was Tutankhamun. 2 nights later, on the 28th of November, the tomb's treasury was breached. It was filled with a huge golden shrine and gave access to another chamber beyond. Rather unusually, this chamber, although heaped with a dazzling array of precious and beautiful artifacts, had no door. Its entrance was watched over by an extraordinarily lifelike effigy of the jackal-headed mortuary god Anubis. With his ears erect, the god crouched dog-like, forepaws stretched out, on the lid of a gilded wooden casket, perhaps 4 feet long, 3 feet high, and 2 feet wide. The Egyptian Museum, Cairo, December 1993. Still perched astride his casket, but now locked away in a dusty glass display case, Anubis held my attention for a long, quiet moment. His effigy had been carved out of stuccoed wood, entirely covered with black resin, and then painstakingly inlaid with gold, alabaster, calcite, obsidian, and silver, materials used to particular effect in the eyes, which glittered watchfully, with an unsettling sense of fierce and focused intelligence. At the same time, his finely etched ribs and lithe musculature gave off an aura of understated strength, energy, and grace. Captured by the force field of this occult and powerful presence, I was vividly reminded of the universal myths of precession I had been studying during the past year. Canine figures moved back and forth among these myths in a manner which at times had seemed almost plotted in the literary sense. I had begun to wonder whether the symbolism of dogs, wolves, jackals, and so on might have been deliberately employed by the long-dead mythmakers to guide initiates through a maze of clues to secret reservoirs of lost scientific knowledge. Amongst these reservoirs, I suspected, was the myth of Osiris. Much more than a myth, it had been dramatized and performed each year in ancient Egypt in the form of a mystery play, a plotted literary artifact passed down as a treasured tradition since prehistoric times. This tradition, as we saw in Part 5, contained values for the rate of precessional motion that were so accurate and so consistent it was extremely difficult to attribute them to chance. Nor did it seem likely to be an accident that the jackal god had been assigned a role center stage in the drama, serving as the spirit guide of Osiris on his journey through the underworld. It was tempting, too, to wonder whether there was any significance in the fact that in ancient times, Anubis had been referred to by Egyptian priests as the guardian of the secret and sacred writings. Under the grooved edge of the gilded casket on which his effigy now crouched was found an inscription, "Initiated into the secrets." Alternative translations of the same hieroglyphic text rendered it variously as "he who is upon the secrets" and as "guardian of the secrets." But were there any secrets left in Egypt? After more than a century of intensive archaeological investigations, could the sands of this antique land yield any further surprises?